Welcome to ACC Network Softball on this Friday and the 2026 Shriners Children's Clearwater Invitational. Another beautiful day on this Friday in the Bay Area. We take you to the Eddie Seymour Complex in Clearwater for an SEC-ACC matchup as the Missouri Tigers take on the NC State Wolfpack. Lots already going on. This is day 2. 6 games yesterday, so 3 have already been completed today, including a loss for NC State to Georgia earlier. Texas Tech won twice yesterday. ACC still looking for their first win as FSU lost to Texas Tech last night. And we are happy to have you with us because there's lots of softball going on. That's our game on the left, which is Field 3. On the right, Tennessee, Nebraska going on right now on ESPN 2 from Field 8. And we say, hey, working remotely along with Olympic medalist Danielle Laurie. I'm Mark Neely. Here we go, year 7 of this great event, Danielle, the Clearwater Invitational. 16 teams, 40 days, over 4 days. And here we go with day 2.
Well, and kicking it off with you, let's go. And this is a postseason field tournament in February. How incredible is that? You're getting to watch softball from 6 a.m. on the West Coast, so it's pretty special, and I'm stoked to see it kick off.
Let's take a look at our keys to this game, brought to you by Shriners Children's. And let's begin with Mizzou. This has been a perennial NCAA tournament team, but didn't go last year. How did they get back to that big dance?
Well, I think it's going to be important for them to not worry about kind of the history of last year or last weekend. We can only focus on what that next game is going to be. We're only as good as our next game. And a player that excites me, key player for them, is Abby Carr. She is that freshman. She's electric. She's a solid two-way player, and I think she's going to be an important piece. And then on the flip side for NC State, you can kind of say the same thing in regards to their last game against Georgia. It was a tough run rule game, but to bring that Bulldog mentality that they had last weekend, they took LSU into the 7th. That was pretty incredible. And then that key player, Carly Short, another freshman. I love these two freshmen for both these teams are big pieces in the offense that can get things going.
All right, we are ready to go with game 10 so far from here in Clearwater. First game for Mizzou of the 5 they'll play, and for NC State again, a loss to Georgia a little bit earlier today. So first pitch on the way. We are underway as that is down low, ball 1, and let's introduce you to Morgan Talley, another one of the young players, a freshman.
Yeah, she is that freshman. Great opportunity in this kind of big time moment to get the ball, love the adrenaline. And she is that two-way player, which I love. She has that good curveball, that rise can go down. I think the important piece is being able to change speeds, has that good velocity. You're starting to see a lot more two-way players in the game. It's a little bit, you know, I think of Jordy Fram, I think of Nigeri Kennedy. You're seeing them swing and pitch, and you're just kind of seeing that trend a little bit upwards.
Ball hit in the air out to center field. Hit pretty well, but waiting on it to come down is Maya Townsend. That's the way the game begins. Sophie Smith flies to center. Here's a look at the Mizzou lineup for head coach Larissa Anderson. Abby Hay trying to get that cleanup spot.
Well, and a healthy Abby Hay, I think that goes a long way. She battled a lot of injuries last year, and at times that injury bug can really plague you. So I think for her, just feeling finally like herself is a really key piece to this offense, because she has kind of that fear factor when she steps in the box. Good leader.
Sydney Forrester, an 0-2 count for the freshman out of Miami, Oklahoma. And some freshman Morgan Talley. Homecoming for Talley, as you saw, from Palm Harbor, Florida, just north of Clearwater. And we mentioned it straight away, in this era of the transfer portal, not that these two teams don't use the transfer portal, Danielle, but they are not shy to bring on a key number of freshmen on their roster. And a wave and a miss at that one down low. A strikeout of Forrester for out number 2.
I really like the way Talley set her up. She went back-to-back changeups, and then she goes down with that 67-mile-an-hour drop ball. It's just offsetting the back-to-back soft to then something hard that's still a pitcher's pitch.
Brings up Abby Carr. Speaking of freshmen, 2 freshmen out of the St. Louis area, the western suburbs of St. Louis, and Wildwood, Missouri, out of Lafayette High School. She is a two-way player, and her head coach, Larissa Anderson, told us she is the future of the program.
And when you get the opportunity to kind of jump right into a program and have that impact where you're getting to play practically right away, I mean, that's where you build that experience. And at times, not all these freshmen are getting the opportunities with the transfer portal to start every day. So that's where you help kind of build that leadership piece and that experience piece, is getting the opportunity to rock that uniform and cross the lines every single day.
Tally trying to set the Tigers down in order here in the top of the first, just underway from Clearwater. Larissa Anderson, her 8th season. You know, I mentioned that it's been 8 years because the landscape in college athletics has changed a lot in those 8 years. And when you're a school like Mizzou, there can be an adjustment period.
I also like that she's back over there at third base. You know, she had talked about it on our coach's call. She had gone over to first base and was coaching there a little bit and was like, absolutely not. This is not for me. I need to be able to be back where I can kind of control some things.
There's a 2-out walk. I think that Coach Anderson said coaching first base was boring.
Well, she said she had to like hype up the hitters when they get a walk or something happens. She goes, that's not usually my jam. I'm over there on third and I get to wave them home and connect, but the fluff on first base, she said she's not good at.
Well, Abby Carr backed up by Abby Hay. The 2 Abbies back-to-back, 3-4 in the order for Mizzou. And you already mentioned the injuries last year for the Colombian native out of Rockbridge High School. Just 3 homers a season ago in her 41 games. But already, a couple of homers this year.
It's a good pitch by Tally. I think the key for Abby Hay is focusing on 70% of the good instead of 30% of the bad at times, is what Coach Anderson had mentioned last year with the injury. She would kind of focus on the fact that she was getting hammered in on her hands and not being able to kind of do some things based on the body not moving the way she needed to with her injuries. And Coach Anderson said, like, let's flip the mentality. Like, let's focus on that 70% good piece and go and have good at-bats. We can't be thinking about the bad, and she's turned that around. Great spot.
Tally looked like she thought she had strike 3 there. Numbers from a season ago for Abby Hay. Did she? She did not. Peel down to the first base umpire, John Chambers.
I like how Tally's expanding the zone, though. It's also respecting who's up at the plate, right? You don't want to leave any pitches over the heart of the plate to a hitter like Abby Hay.
Off the end of the bat to the right side, gobbled up by Kendall Simmers. A 2-out walk issued to Abby Carr, and Tally strands Carr. NC State coming up when we come back. More beautiful, bright blue skies here in the Tampa Bay area and Clearwater on this Friday. NC State comes up in the bottom of the first inning. Take a look at the lineup for third-year head coach Lindsay Leftwich. You start right at the top of the order with a senior transfer, Maya Townsend.
I like that she is that spark plug in the leadoff spot, and like you mentioned, she is that transfer from LSU. And really, you look at times last season had only appeared in 19 games, so I like that she's getting to play every day. And then Sierra Harrison, she is that senior for this team. When I think of a solid pitcher, someone that I really want to be able to set the tone, it is Sierra Harrison. Has a lot of funky stuff, can make the ball move a ton.
Lead on the Wolfpack, senior number 1, Maya Townsend.
Very nice of Sierra Harrison to take time just so Maya Townsend can be officially introduced by the PA announcer. It's fouled away. More off in the bottom of the first.
Everyone deserves their moment, Mark.
Yes.
Like that?
It's Clearwater.
Sierra Harrison can bring it up there in that velo, is actually added on a little bit of velocity, has that up with the side, as well as that fastball she can throw to all quadrants. I think when you come into these types of games, especially as a senior, it's like showing that dominance of that senior leadership, right? Like there's this different level of confidence you have going out there knowing it is your last year. You have nothing to lose. These tournaments, when you're playing this type of competition, does kind of give you that butterfly feeling of what it may feel like in May in the postseason. Good spot. I think that really, to me, Mark, is the thing that I'm looking at throughout this tournament with how good hitting is, how are pitchers utilizing the corners. Great job behind the dish trying to get that pitch, but I think it's going to be so important for pitchers to be able to spread the zone accordingly. Oh, she's working hard for her.
Phil Friels is our plate umpire, veteran umpire, as are all the umpires. You'll find it. Clearwater Invitational. Phil brings up a 3-2 pitch. Townsend knocked in both runs earlier today in the Wolfpack 16-2 loss to Georgia. A 2-run double with 2 outs in the 5th. Quite a battle here already.
Well, the one thing I feel like in how the game has evolved is you're seeing hitters have a lot more lengthy ABs. Pitchers are having to throw more pitches. You've seen a lot more pitchers split games. It's tough to go and throw a 7 innings against these lineups.
And the 8th pitch bounced out towards short, and it skips past Updegrove and into left field. And Maya Townsend mentioned in her last at bat of the earlier game today against Georgia. 2-run double and starts this game with a hit.
Well, this is just picture perfect pitch on the outside part of the plate. Hits it right through that 5-6 hole. It's a slapper special. Seeing a ton of pitches. 8 pitch at bat. I think that kind of allows the rest of your lineup to say, hey, all right, let's go. We're on her.
Townsend stays at first with a pitch in the dirt. Yeah, Carly Short at the plate, another one of the freshmen. Had a double in the earlier game against Georgia. Harrison has fallen behind. 2 balls, no strikes. And make it 3-0. Time requested by the catcher, Britton, to go out there, yeah.
Where you can just kind of find yourself getting in trouble a little bit, right? Like an 8 pitch at bat to Maya Townsend to that leadoff base hit, and then you can fall behind real quick, and it's a quick 3-0. And as a pitcher, sometimes things can pile up really quick, but being able to throw strikes is key. You see Lindsay Leftwich, 3rd season here at NC State. So this is the first time where she really feels like everyone that is on this squad is all about NC State. They want to be here. The puzzle pieces all fit together. And that's really at times what it's like when you first become the coach of a head program. You got to kind of iron out the kinks a little bit, figure it out. They're not all the kids that you recruited yet.
Lindsay Leftwich spent the prior 12 seasons before coming to Raleigh at LSU with Beth Torina. It's part of 4 Women's College World Series teams, and her Wolfpack team played a couple of games against LSU last week, and were just a few outs away from beating LSU in the second game. It's down the right field side. Long run into the corner, but it's going to go foul.
And that was a cool weekend for her, getting to go back and play at LSU. I know she got to see Howard Dobson, who she coached with. She said she got to give him a big hug at home plate. And listen, this was a team that took LSU to the 7th inning. Like, and I asked, like, that mentality, that competitiveness, like, how do you replicate that every game? And she said, hey, that's what we're trying to instill in these athletes. That was the message after we had played them.
Hot shot through the right side. Stopping at second base is Townsend, but a couple of base hits, one to each side. And Townsend and now Carly Short. And the Wolfpack have 2 on, nobody out.
And a really good at bat by Short. This pitch is elevated a little bit, too much over the heart of the plate. And 7-pitch AB by Short, 8-pitch prior by Maya Townsend, and they're making her work with no outs here. That pass the bat mentality is what you're seeing here with NC State.
One upstairs to Kendall Simmers, Wolfpack shortstop. Set the NC State freshman home run record last year with 13.
I think right now, Sierra Harrison just kind of needs to give herself like a check-in, and Coach Anderson is going to call time and go out there. And I know we are only in weekend 2, but as a pitcher, I mean, sometimes you got to have those hard conversations. I used to like when the pitching coach would come out and be like, hey, like, you got to figure this out. We cannot continue to keep falling behind on these hitters. You're better than this. Like, that personal check-in in a moment allows for you to realize, like, man, I have to be better. Like, what is my pitch that I can attack these hitters with right now? And sometimes you gotta use that senior experience in a moment like this to be like, hey, I'm better, let's go, I got this.
Well, for those that may be a little unfamiliar with the resume of Sierra Harrison, let's just go back to last year. She had 10 wins. ERA a little under 4, had 3 wins against ranked teams, including number 24 Georgia, number 19 Ole Miss, and number 1 Oklahoma. That was hit pretty well to left center field and gone. Well, she set the freshman record last year for NC State with 13 and hits number 1 in her sophomore season and gives the Wolfpack an early 3-0 lead.
Well, Kendall Simmers last year was the only freshman to play all 54 of NC State's games and carries that momentum into her sophomore season. This is a hitter's count all the way. She goes down and gets this changeup. It's 56 miles an hour with a lot of carry out of here and a lot of swagger, right? Like, this is the first inning, 3-run shot. Has to feel good after that loss to Georgia earlier. They had, you know, gotten whomped by them. Georgia put a beating on NC State, and I think how you choose to respond after a game like that is key. To be able to step up and do some damage, you love to see it.
Lily Livingston makes a high strike. That first game they played against Georgia, Danielle, they're down 16-0 going to the top of the 5th. You're looking at it and saying, well, this is going to be a run rule game. But they scored twice. I mean, how much does that affect all of a sudden an hour later playing here and opening up the first with a 3-1 shot?
And you know, the conversation with Coach Leftwich is very much like, hey, like, clean slate. We can't be thinking about that heading into this game, but you have to be able to step up and be better. And you're seeing that right out of the gate. I think I can appreciate the lengthy at-bats, right? Like, Sierra Harrison isn't helping them out by maybe throwing a little bit more balls in some situations, but I think at times what hurt them last weekend, Coach Leftwich had mentioned, was swinging at a lot of pitches maybe outside of the zone and not attacking pitches that they can do some damage with. So they've had some really good, patient, scrappy at-bats.
Only 2 strikes on Livingston. True freshman out of the state of Alabama. Another true freshman on this roster that has started all 7 games now to start this season for the Pack.
That's a good spot. I do like that spot at that count. Thought that pitch could have went either way.
It's in play out to shallow center field, and that's going to drop in between the center fielder Linger and the shortstop Updegrove. But caught in between the bases, the tag is made, and Livingston is out. Too wide a turn, headed for second base. And Mizzou does finally get the first out, I should say, of this bottom of the first inning, but a 4th straight hit for the Pack.
I just wanted someone to take control in that situation. Looked like maybe a little bit of a Bermuda Triangle out there between Langer and then Updegrove.
Well, it took 26 pitches, but Harrison has gotten the first out and gets the first pitch swinging strike on the DH Hannah Church. Ohio State transfer. She blasts one towards center field. This one's deep at the track. It is gone. Out of reach of Linger in center field, and Hannah Church hits her 3rd of this young season. It has now been a 4-run inning for the Wolfpack.
You love to see it if you're NC State. Get on plane. The goal for this team this year was to be a little bit flatter through the zone. A team that wanted to hit more doubles, but right out of the gate, you're seeing a couple dingers in this game. I thought for a second Langer might have been able to time this up, but really good job by NC State this inning. They're capitalizing on misses over the heart of the plate by Harrison, right? That last pitch was a pitch that was just right over Main Street. You can't miss a pitch when it is over the heart of the plate, and she made her pay.
Morgan Talley, the pitcher, is also batting. There's the offensive numbers for Talley to begin the year. This two-way player. First pitch of the inning. It's inside. Church, I mentioned, played her first 2 years at Ohio State. Last year, her first year at NC State, ACC All-13. Hit a team-high 19 homers a year ago. Already has 3 now this year. It's down the right field side. Playable in the glove with Sydney Forrester. 2 down. But it has been at least just number of pitches wise here, Daniel. It's 32 pitches for Harrison here in the bottom of the first.
Well, and it's funny, you and I are on the same page, because I was going to say the exact same thing. She's at times fallen behind a little bit, but like I said at the beginning of this game, like, you're seeing hitters find ways to have a lot more scrappier at bats, forcing pitchers to have to throw a lot more pitches. And at times that cat and mouse game is who's going to be able to be more mentally tough in those moments. As a pitcher, are you going to miss? Can you continue to keep hammering good spots when a hitter is 9 pitches deep on you? And at times we've seen Sierra Harrison just fall behind a little bit this inning and just miss too much over the plate. At times I do think she's been squeezed a smidge. Pitcher up here in the booth, so I feel like it's okay for me to verbalize that to everyone with how good hitting is. I do think that pitcher should definitely be able to have some solid corners.
We can never take that out of you, so that's all right. We embrace that.
mean, you have to. There's so many just different technology and all the things for hitters these days and pitching machines that can replicate every single thing you throw. I'm waiting for something to come out for pitchers.
All in 2 strikes to Massey, the 7th hitter to bat in this bottom of the 1st for the Wolfpack.
That's a good pitch by Harrison. She's climbing the ladder, and you see kind of that body movement by Massey where she kind of wants it, but she doesn't. So you have to chalk that up as a win for you as a pitcher when you're kind of getting that competitive take.
Tried it again, but that time we'll swing it all by Massey. 3-2, another full count. And a handful of those in this inning. This is the 3rd 3-2 count of the frame for Harrison. Couldn't quite hang on.
And the one thing we just really haven't seen so far is, besides one pitch that got out of here with the homer, is an off speed, right? We haven't seen Sierra Harrison really kind of offset that hard with something off speed. And I think at the end of the day, that is the difference maker when you're going up against the caliber of hitters that you're seeing nowadays, to be able to change speeds on command, hit quadrants. Can't change speeds. Hitters are just too on time these days.
And the inning continues. That's the first walk allowed by Harrison. He's at 41 pitches. Mizzou has had some activity going in their bullpen because of this high 1st inning pitch count for Harrison. Natalie Touche has been up in the bullpen for Mizzou. And this is a almost shockingly high pitch total, Danielle, at 41, and still looking for that 3rd out.
Well, especially in week 2 and the 1st inning, right? I think starting out as a pitcher, you've built up as much stamina as you can over the fall and over the winter, but hey, man, week 1, week 2, your body's still trying to kind of figure out that adrenaline piece, being able to just go hard. At least I'm speaking from my own personal experience. When you're in week 6, week 7, week 8, let's go, we're rolling. But right out of the gate as a pitcher, it does take a little bit to build up that game stamina. And 43 pitches in the 1st inning is a lot.
Carmen Montez de Oca hits it down the right field side. Foul. You see there, number 14 from Mizzou in the bullpen. That's Touche. NC State, 5 hits to start the game. They only had 4 hits in the loss to Georgia earlier today as Touche gets loose. And you almost get the feeling if she doesn't get out of it right here, Mizzou could make a 1st inning pitching change. And that's strike 3. First strikeout for Harrison. 40+ pitches. First 5 batters all had hits, 2 left the ballpark.
Well, and I think this is just such a statement by NC State. Huge. Kendall Simmers on the changeup, and then Hannah Church, her 3rd homer already of the season. Let's go Wolfpack.
Shriners Children's Clearwater Invitational is brought to you by Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere. And St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida. From game time to white sand beaches. Visit spc.com.
Well, NC State, big bottom of the 1st. They lead at 4-0 as Mizzou comes up in the top of the 2nd inning.
Leading off for Mizzou.
Tonight Hill leads off for Mizzou. It's the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for the Tigers. And I have an early hole to try to dig out of. Tonight, who missed most of last year, her true freshman year, with injury. In fact, didn't play any games after the end of February. So the injury happened early in the season. It's out towards right center field, and a diving catch. Maya Townsend. It's not enough that got the bats going early. Now it's the glove of Townsend who robs Hill of a base hit.
Well, I was manifesting this before the game. I talked to our producer, James Davis, and I said, I feel like there might be a SportsCenter top 10 play. And man, look at the air she got when she laid out for that. You love to see it. That's like goosebumps on my arms that won't go away.
I know these Fridays can kind of be busy in the sports world, but I'm with you, Danielle. I don't know if we're going to see 10 better plays in the world of sports better than that tonight.
I mean, just the air. Like, I love the still frame photos when you see those outies that are just full on. And I always reference, you know, one of the greats, Aralia with LSU, who's now part of the AUSL. Like, you think of some of the most epic photos that you've seen over the years. It's those outfielders that just lay it all out on the line. That's the stuff that fires you up as a pitcher.
A great defensive Jim has started the inning. Shortstop for the Tigers, Madison Updegrove, Columbia native. Trying to get Mizzou started. They had a 2-out base runner in the first on a walk to Abby Carr. He's been their lone base runner so far. You call this the outie? Outs?
I mean, that's
Wow.
so cool. I was never able to put my body on the line like that, Mark. That's why we chose. That's why we chose pitching.
You did it in other ways.
In
you
other
didn't have
ways,
to dive
but
like that in the circle. Yeah. Season numbers for Madison. The 5 homers a year ago. Got under it, popped up, and the pitcher wants it. Morgan Talley says, I'll take that. 2 outs. Well, coming up tomorrow morning, our coverage will continue as this NC State Wolfpack team will take on number 8 Texas A&M at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And then Sunday morning, this Mizzou Tiger team taking on another ACC team and 19th ranked Duke. Two down. Gracie Britton getting the call to catch today. This is the first career start for Gracie Britton, the true freshman. Second overall game. One of the younger players on the team. She reclassified after her fall season this past fall. She was in high school in Ashland, Missouri, and joined Mizzou in the spring. Had a single in her first career at bat. That came against UCF 2 nights ago in Orlando. Mizzou had played their entire season at the Eddie C. Moore Complex, this same place. In fact, a lot of games on this very field, Field 3. They left the complex to go play at UCF, ironically another team that's in this invitational, but went to Orlando to play the Knights. Had an early lead, but lost 5-1. Gracie got her first hit in that game. Now she has a base on balls. It's like the first inning, a 2-out walk issued to the Tigers.
Tigers,
33 pitches, freshman Morgan Talley. Haley Linger fouls the first pitch.
And this is a Mizzou offense, too, that is kind of revamping themselves a little bit with some new coaches on staff. Coach Marissa Anderson went out and started hunting and brought in Jake Epstein, who's new to this offense and works with them. And I think at times still learning that new approach, trying to have a lot better discipline.
Yeah, really, Bella Norton, the only main holdover from the staff, and she's just in year 2. And Jeff Cottrell left after 3 seasons on the Mizzou staff. He's now an assistant at Houston. Jason Gwynn, who coaches over at first base right now, handles the defense and some recruiting and more, new to the staff as well after coming over from North Texas.
Yeah, there's this different just kind of learning curve that comes when you have a new hitting coach and a new philosophy. And I know Coach Anderson really talked, like I said, about that plate discipline, but the biggest kind of things that he was bringing in was balls 1 through 5 on the plate, and he would kind of tackle with these hitters the ones that are their strengths and the ones that are not their strengths. Like, hey, you can't be swinging at balls 4 and 5 because this isn't in your power zone. You got to work a little bit more, 1, 2, 3, and it's being able to establish that as a hitter really until you get 2 strikes, right? And then you're just in protect mode. But at times, especially when you have some vet players that have been doing it one way for a little bit, it takes a little bit of time to kind of learn, and still being fairly new into the season, right? Like, we're only in week 2. It feels different. This tournament gives you that kind of, wow, everyone should be in such a different place because it feels like mayhem, but teams are still figuring it out individually, and the identity of where everyone's trying to go takes time.
Ball's blasted towards left field, hit very well, and out. And Mizzou gets right back in the game. Kaylee Linger's first home run of the season and cuts the deficit in half.
Now, this was after pitching coach from NC State had went out and called times. 2-1 all day. Have to have a hack at that pitch. Right in our wheelhouse, turns on it, bad speed through the zone. Let's go. Love that natural sound off the bat, how quick it got out of here. I'd be curious to know how far that thing went. Didn't even see it.
Linger with 4 homers a year ago. And the 9th spot in the order is up. Left fielder, Addie Kohler. Only had 1 at bat so far on the year. Making her first start, 5th appearance of the season. The appeal denied down to third base, 2-0. So 1 swing has got Mizzou right back in things here. Still very early in the top of the 2nd. Balls and 2 strikes on Kohler. And it was a 2-out walk that extended the inning. Gracie Britton and Linger really getting a hold of one. Strikeout is the 2nd of the game for Morgan Talley, but Mizzou gets right back in the game. Home run by Linger. 4-2 Pack after an inning and a half. Friday afternoon in the Bay Area, those beautiful beaches. Shriners Children's Clearwater Invitational, day 2 of 4. And all the fields are busy right now as you see what's going on around the different complex. Georgia had a win over NC State earlier today. They're taking on UCF. They're top left. Got Nebraska. Everybody has to learn Jordy Ball's new married name, From. Got Nebraska here. Great field as usual. 16 teams. In the 16 teams, you have half of those advanced to super regionals, and half of that, 3 of them went to Oklahoma City in Women's College World Series. Let's see how this inning works out for Sierra Harrison, who had a 44-pitch first inning. NC State, first 5 hitters all with hits. The Wolfpack, who had scored 3 runs in the first inning all season through their first 6 games, scored 4 in the first today. 9-hole hitter leading off.
Well, in both these
Johnson.
2 teams, I mean, the pitching coaches had lengthy discussions with both prior to this inning even kicking off. You saw Coach Anderson talking with Harrison, and then on the flip side, you saw Mike Bosch talking with Talley. Just that connection and importance. I think the conversation with Coach Anderson to Harrison, like, you have to go out and set the tone. I mean, your team got you back in this 2-run home run. Let's go. Go out and pitch like you know how to. That first inning at times looking a little hesitant.
You know, she's gotten to 2 strikes on a lot of hitters.
Yes.
It's just been trying to put it away. She has the 1 strikeout, 1 walk.
And I will say, these pitchers aren't getting the lower half of the zone well from knees, at knees.
Little tap. Harrison fields it herself. Little wide, but Abby Hayes stayed on the base, according to John Chambers, our first base umpire.
Well, and this is so good, right? Because she threw an off-speed pitch, and you just see kind of that defensive swing. Good job fielding her position. Abby Hay keeping her foot on the base. She is pretty tall, which does kind of add some value over there at first, but it's the pitch and what you said prior, the put-away pitch. What has that been for Sierra Harrison? I think she's still trying to figure it out, but that off speed now put them in a position to have a leadoff out. And I think that to me is so important when you're starting out after an inning where you gave up a 4 spot as a pitcher. Can I go out, establish that strike zone early, and make a hitter chase my pitch?
Back to the top of the order. Aya Townsend. She did offer at it. Forward strike 1. Well, Townsend had a base hit her first time up, but it's the glove that has gotten our attention.
Heavy leather, I mean, lay it all out there. That stuff just excites me because I know how hard it is, and you know how outies practice that all the time for those one little moments, and not everyone gets that pitch where they get to lay it all out on the line.
How long have you called outfielders outies, by the way?
I don't know, maybe that's a Canadian thing. I think we used to with Team Canada. I love it. We're first game, you and me, and you're already calling me out on my Canadian lingo. Love to see it.
It had nothing to do with your nationality. It was just I hadn't heard outfielders called outies very often.
And that's the pitch I'm talking about that I would want if I'm out there in the circle, right? You think about the 4 quadrants, and I want to be able to get that pitch, and that's her fastball. I'd continue to keep working that. I'd have conversations with my catcher for her to try to establish that down pitch.
Top left side, and it skips pass up to Grove in the left center field. We'll see how they score it. That chopper eluded Mizzou shortstop. Townsend on base for a second time. Let's look at it again.
Well, and anytime you get that double hop, you're in trouble when you have a slapper, right? And these fields here in Clearwater, like, at times can be a little bit tricky. So as an infielder, I mean, you always have to be on your toes when a ball is coming your way. I saw a ball yesterday, Northwestern shortstop. It just completely took a turn of events, and she was in the right spot, but the ball moved a different way. And you got to be on your toes with this dirt here in Clearwater. I would rule that a base hit unless she were to have got it on the first hop with her speed.
Well, the official score agrees with you. That has been ruled a base hit. So Townsend is 2 for 2 today. By the way, with her base hit in the first inning, she extended her season hitting streak to 5 games. You know, that's a location you don't mind getting for the pitchers every now and then. Really short, a base hit to right, first time up. She then scored on the Simmers 3-run homer.
See, I like that pitch.
Or pitch walk. Well, coming up a week from today, next Friday, #1 North Carolina women's lacrosse team and the #1 Maryland men's lacrosse team will highlight the ACC Network schedule as you see there. Coverage begins at 2:30 Eastern time and 6 Eastern. By the way, the 11th and 3rd ranked Syracuse men and women lacrosse are the opponents in both those. Kendall Simmers 3-run blast got the scoring going here on field 3 today.
You can sense the frustration by Sierra Harrison in the circle, and I feel it a little bit because that last pitch I think should have been called a strike and it wasn't. So it's like trying to sometimes battle that stuff. And you see Coach Anderson connect with Britton right away, and he's trying to figure out, hey, like where are those missing? Are those close? Are they not? And then you're able to kind of go over and have that conversation with the pitcher. But listen, sometimes I needed a catcher to come up to me and be like, hey, those are strikes. Keep working it. Because you can kind of question yourself when you're out there and there's a circle around you for a reason, right? Sometimes like pitchers we're all a little different in our own way. We need certain things, but at times the pressure of things, the frustration can build up. Like, what is your outlet in the moment? And sometimes being told like, hey, you're good. Like, I don't love this zone he's calling for you right now. I'm going to have your back. I'm going to get you those pitches. Gives you that little extra confidence in the moment.
So has it been mainly, what, a curve to the righties that's been the location that she's, in theory, not getting here, or at least what she wants?
I don't think she's getting that fastball down in the zone and a pitch. I mean, you're seeing a lot of swings at pitches up on fouling, you know, them off and having those scrappy at bats. But I think for her to be able to establish the inner half with the fastball, she's just having a tough time with that because it's just being called too low. So she's got herself into a pitcher's count right here, 1-2.
Those rise upstairs, 2-2 on Simmers, who's homer in the first. That 3-run blast, her first of the year.
And I'd almost potentially go with change, but something way out of the zone.
It's 66, pop fly in foul ground, and it's caught by Sophie Smith. Tagging going to third goes Townsend, so it's a play there by Maya Townsend to advance to third base. And the runners are at the corners with 2 down.
And that's a really, really good play by Smith at second base. You just love to see that all-out effort. You look at where she is. She just makes a mad 100-yard dash, and she goes and she trusts herself. I'm sure she's yelling. Abby Hayes all out, and that's what you love to see. So when that ball goes up, it is that all-out effort. Somebody go and get it.
Livingston jumping on the first pitch, but it's going to drop in amongst the spectators. Really a base hit to center in the first inning. And a double and a run scored in the earlier game today for NC State against Georgia. After 44 pitches in the first. There's a 22 more here in the second. Pitch count, though, nearing 70 here in the bottom of the second. Sierra Harrison. That rise ball's going to twist back and out of play.
I'd like to see her potentially spin that off speed a little bit. I've seen her have success with that already in this inning with that leadoff out to the 9-hole hitter, through that changeup, got that defensive swing. I just think sometimes as a hitter, when you know she's realistically only thrown 2 changeups in a game out of 68 pitches, there's a good chance that I'm going to see hard, and I'm planning on that. So sometimes you can get those defensive swings, changing speeds.
Changeups have we seen from Harrison? Hadn't been many.
I think just 2. The 2 that I've seen, the home run from Kendall Simmers, and then that leadoff out in the second inning by Sarah Johnson. Those are the only 2 that I remember. And I have, you know, those changeup eyes. I'm always looking at the velo after the pitch to see.
Ladies and gentlemen, this weekend's foul ball takers are the players for various softball clubs in the area. They can be identified by their organization.
Balls, 2 strikes.
Please return
Livingston.
all foul balls to your closest player. Thank you.
Hear the PA announcer. Yes, they're not souvenirs. They do need the softballs back.
I guarantee you, both my kids would be trying to run off with that thing. Especially my
They take after their
not
mother.
be listening. Mom, look what I got. I'm making a run for it.
2-2, bounced to third, gobbled up, Hill to first in time. Sanaya Hill making the play. And a couple base runners stranded by NC State. They've left 3. We have finished 2 in Clearwater. Oh, land of the beautiful beaches. 2-run lead for the Wolfpack. Yeah, the final couple of games from Clearwater on Sunday. Just make your appointment viewing now. If you want to see Carlin Pickens, if you want to see Nyjah and Jordy, we can just use the first names of those 2. They're that big a deal in this sport.
And you're hoping they get the chance to go up against each other. You love just those Sunday night games under the lights. So epic. And you get a couple of aces. When you think about Mark, just I'm referencing kind of that AUSL stuff and some names you've seen on the draft board, some of the biggest pitchers, right? It is Nyjah Kennedy, it is Jordy Fram, it is Carlin Pickens, and all 3 of those athletes are getting the chance to compete Sunday night. And Florida State will be taking on Tennessee. But it is kind of also like sad when you think about it. It's the last time you're going to get to see those 3 players this year compete.
Yeah.
At the college level, it's like at times you feel like you get such an attachment to these athletes, right? Seeing them as incoming freshmen and how they've really like just grown and evolved in the circle in so many ways, and the impact they have.
Liner out to shortstop. Into the mid of Carly Short for the first out.
The impact that they have on just the youth in the game, like I can't tell you how much, like my daughter, my littlest, who's 9, she got to meet Nyjah when she was playing with Stanford and playing at Washington a couple years ago. And just Nyjah taking the time to talk to her. My daughter says Nyjah has been her favorite player anytime college softball comes on. Like she talks about Nyjah. She's seen her in the Venmo commercial with Texas Tech, and she will just bring it up. So it's just the impact that these players have on the youth is pretty special.
Yeah, having watched Nyjah as going all the way back to her freshman year at Stanford, and I've seen firsthand, even at that introduction, so to speak, of her into the game her freshman year at Stanford, you could tell that she was different. I didn't know it was going to blow up like totally like it has, but you knew she was going to be one of the dominant forces in pitching that game.
Well, and she, I want to say, was like 7 or 8 innings away from, might not even have been that many, from being able to be a first-team All-American. She should be a 3-time All-American when you think about it.
Taryn Massey in fair territory. Tally's got the first 2.
I mean, it's just the back-to-back National Player of the Year. Like, there is such a pressure that comes with that. This young lady has the best pressure on her this year. And I mean that because I feel like I lived it a little bit with how that game works. When you're a reigning National Player of the Year, everyone wants to beat you all the time. And then you talk about, you know, the NIL and all the things. There is a different target and pressure piece that she has to deal with on a daily basis that at times I'm glad I didn't have to deal with, because you already have enough pressure when you cross the lines to just go out there and compete, but just to be stable the whole time. And I don't know, just it was so refreshing seeing them in the stands yesterday before they played Northwestern, watching that Oklahoma game, and just Nyjah had her headphones on. She'd have some fans coming over. She'd take pictures. She'd sign autographs. And I wonder if in those moments for her, it's kind of like a pinch me moment, right? Like, wow, like this is really what I get to do and what I'm about. And these young kids love to just be around me. Almost a time where she doesn't have to probably think about the pressure. She just gets to be Nyjah Kennedy, which is pretty special. I mean, I've got to call a good chunk of her games and be around her. I was at Arizona last year when Texas Tech came, and that was a big showdown. Also got to go to that BYU series and sit down and talk. She's so down to earth.
Bouncy ball out towards short, and that kicks off short, Harley short, and into left center field. Maybe Carr is on with 2 outs. Well, Texas Tech is next up on this field, field 3. They take on Florida Atlantic in the next game here on field 3. Don't anticipate to see Nyjah in the circle, as she threw in both games yesterday, an inning against Florida State, 5 against Northwestern. But that's what's ahead on ESPN Plus on this field. Texas Tech, Florida Atlantic. Texas Tech is obviously one of the big stories to begin this season, with the transfer portal usage to add to what was even a team that was just knocking on the door, winning the national title last year.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because you look at the big dogs that they picked up, and you look at what they were able to do last year. It's national championship or bust, in my eyes. If you don't win with who you have on your roster and what you were able to do last year.
It's hit sharply, gathered by Kendall Simmers. And Tally works around the 2-out error.
A nice job, a lot of bat speed by Abby Hayes, and just a hot shot. Simmers makes the play, gets him out of the jam.
Welcome back to the 2026 Shriners Children's Clearwater Invitational. Day 2 of 4 on this Friday in Clearwater. In field 3. Let's take you around some of the other fields. Little Lamar taking one towards left field for Duke. That's out. They're taking on 8th-ranked Texas A&M, and the coach's daughter reaches going a little oppo there, and it's 3-0.
I mean, oppo taco, let's go.
Sierra Harrison face 5, 6, and 7 part of the order. Hannah Church's solo blast her first time up, her team leading 3rd of the year. "19 homers a year ago, set the freshman record. She had 9 of those 19 home runs in ACC play. All ACC 3rd team in her first year with NC State after playing her true freshman and sophomore years at Ohio State. She had 7 combined homers in the 2 seasons at Ohio State. Got under that one. Out the shallow left field as Kohler calls off Updegrove to make the catch.
Well, we got the chance to talk with Coach Leftwich just about this NC State team and some of kind of the big goals and things they focused on. One of the things that always stands out is when coaches give credit to the strength and conditioning piece and just that true just changes that you've seen and that confidence. They play different, they look different. And this was a couple years ago. They had to share someone with basketball when they first got here. She said there were some internal changes that got made. Now they have the head of the department, Christy Bartlett, and she's just made them bigger, faster, stronger, and at times links them together.
Talley singles to left field. The pitcher, it's her 5th hit of the season, first of the day. You know, as you alluded to, we have access to all 16 coaches prior to this event. And I don't know how many times when we've asked about different players, as you mentioned, Coach Leftwich was no exception, how many times I heard the coaches say, she's stronger this year. That just came out consistent.
Well, you're just seeing the exit velo on some of these hitters and the technology, and it is scary when you combine that with that strength. But I also think there's a key component to working hard through that strength and conditioning piece is vibing together better as a team, right? When you do hard things together, you get more mentally tough together. And that's ultimately, if you want to go far in this game, make it to Mayhem, want to try to, you know, go to a regional, host a regional, get to supers, and be one of that elite 8 that make it to OKC. At times, it's some of the most mentally tough athletes at the end of the season that stick with that strength and conditioning throughout, but have seen the growth from it. And at times, in a team sport, we can feel isolated in our position to have to step up in a way where we need to remember the hard. Why am I doing this? Well, man, I've done X, Y, Z in the off season with my team, and iron sharpens iron. And that really, when you have that collective cohesiveness as a team, some of my best memories, even though they were the hardest, we're doing our 21 half gassers at UW. You hated it. Like, you're going there, you're throwing up in the morning because you're so nervous. But that sense of accomplishment together as a group, when you finish, those were things we at times still talked about later on in the year.
Yes, he got the green light 3-0 and fouled a pitch off, but a 5-pitch walk, a couple of 2-out base runners. By the way, I do appreciate the extremely graphic result of some of those gassers. That in your honesty.
I mean, there's nothing.
Totally
21 gassers, and you had to get it in your time. If you didn't, you'd have to come back and run them again in a couple days. 21 of those, and the reference was for 21 outs. But
sometimes you just lose your breakfast to pay the price.
Sometimes before you even run.
Mizzou's going to make a pitching change. Ramsey will come in and replace Harrison. Well, Sierra Harrison lifted here in the 3rd inning, really the 1st inning, when she threw 44 pitches, gave up all 4 runs. And there, you mentioned it earlier, Daniel, there were a lot of close pitches, didn't go her way and stuff, and it just kind of snowballed her a bit early in the game.
Well, and she was grinding through it and continuing to keep going. I think you never stop learning in this game, whether you're a senior or an incoming freshman, or stop playing for a couple years and go back to play. And definitely a learning moment for her, and she's passing the torch to Natalie Touche, who's going to hopefully come in and be able to establish that strike zone early. I think at times coming into games, that really is one of the key pieces. Like, what are the pitches that I'm going to be able to zip in here and get away with? She has that downward pitch that hopefully with maybe a little bit of a higher strike zone right now, she'll be able to get, has that off speed. And I think the importance of being able to establish the change. NC State has not seen a ton of off speed or change-ups.
Montez de Oca hits the first one foul out of reach of a diving Sophie Smith. There's a strikeout victim Sierra Harrison back in the first inning.
Yeah. Back-to-back off-speed pitches. The first one prior was 56 and then floats that one in there at 55 miles an hour, and it's just money. Back-to-back strikes. Getting into a hitter's dome a little bit.
Fell off the table. Strikes out Montez de Oak, and I think your initial point is a good one. There weren't many changeups coming from Harrison.
Well, and this is just that funky downward, almost like an off-speed drop a little bit. So good. Definite change in velocity from Harrison to Touche. So at times hitting, when you bring someone new in, it's just that timing piece. Like if you were to ask a hitter, would you rather face someone that throws 70 miles an hour or consistently anywhere from 55 to 58 or 59? Most would say they want the velo.
It's going to kick away and advance. Both runners, Talley to third, Massey to second on a wild pitch. And to your point, though, Danielle, like you said, most hitters don't want to face velo that's below normal hitting speed.
True. Hard to make adjustments. 56, 57 is a little bit slower than what you normally would see. And it just requires a different concentration as a hitter. Like you really got to keep your weight back. You've got to keep your hands back. Where are you moving around the box? Do you want to be in the front of the box? Well, Touche tends to have a little bit downward movement, right? So it's just being able to figure out as a hitter how you can adjust.
Here we go!
Touche made 13 relief appearances a year ago, an ERA at 2.47. Didn't have a lot of innings, 17 on the season. Now in her junior year. That last pitch was another example. It was elevated at 55, in just enough on the left-handed hitter to tie her up. Sarah Johnson waits on the 3-2. So a walk loads the bases in a big spot here, especially if you're Mizzou. You got back in the game after giving up 4 in the first, thanks to Linger's homer to make it 4-2. But now here's a 2-out chance for NC State to create some more separation again.
Well, getting to pass the bat up top here to Maya Townsend with already a couple hits on the day. I definitely think this is worth a conversation by Coach Anderson. You have to kind of give credit where credit's due, and in that leadoff spot, and knowing how good she is, just such a triple threat up there. And this is where you can look at and go like, man, the transfer portal is a good thing for at times. Like someone like Maya Townsend last year at LSU, I mean, she appeared in 19 games last season, and she's going to be a day-to-day player that they rely on, spark plug, up top the lineup, playing outfield. Like, she's going to be one of their go-to athletes, and you just love to see it, right? Not that she couldn't compete at LSU, but now she gets to kind of carry a different type of leadership role here, and the common denominator is Coach Leftwich, right? Coached at LSU, knows her well, gets to be back with her.
2 hits in this game for Townsend and a terrific diving catch in center field. Hits it right back to the circle. He got to play it in base, and she throws it away. And 2 runs will come in. The Tigers were on the doorstep of getting out of the inning unhurt. and couldn't get the force out at the plate to end the inning.
And that little extra pressure, it made more sense for her to go home. But listen, that 1-2 walk through as a pitcher, if the confidence isn't there in the throw under pressure, that little flip to home is going to be so key. There's something that's challenging about going underhand a ton of times, 10 pitches in a row, to then have to throw overhand. Some pitchers have a tough time with it.
Gives NC State back their original 4-run lead, and runners 2 more in scoring position here with 2 outs. Carly Short has been on base twice with a single and a walk. I'll get back to your point, though, about
of the zone. Sorry to interrupt you. That lower end of the zone, that pitch, like that last one she threw that registered up as a ball, like those are just the little pitches that I feel like Sierra Harrison was having a tough time being able to locate something down, and the same thing for Touche. But that's a strike. I stand by that. I know you know that. You know me behind.
I know. That's a big call. I mean, 2 and 1's a lot different than 1 and 2.
And you see the constant communication. You hear Britton behind the plate. Where's that missing? You hear it coming from the dugout with the coaches asking, like, trying to figure that out still here in the 3rd inning, right? When it should be established kind of right from the gate what you're going to be able to get.
Two pitch coming to Carly Short. A little bit high, ball 4, so that will reload the bases. It's going to put a big power threat at the plate. Kendall Simmers, who's already hit a 3-run shot today.
At the plate, number 5, Kendall Simmers.
56 miles an hour down, go and get it. This was so good. This kind of really set the tone for NC State. And that was after they had played Georgia earlier on in the day, not the outcome they wanted. But setting it early, who the big dog is, and Kendall Simmers, 2-run shot.
So my question to you, Danielle, would be, and we mentioned that Harrison didn't throw a lot of changeups. That wasn't off. That was a changeup. Was she sitting changeup, or was it just a poorly executed changeup?
No, I don't think that was a bad spot. I think she went down to go and get it.
Ball got away, came out of her hand while she was trying to make a delivery. And another run comes in.
And that's going to be ball 2, obviously, on the hitter. And some different things that are happening with the pitchers that I feel like I can relate to. This is a situation that I've totally been in before, where your hands are a little bit slick, it gets away from you, and then you're like, where's the ball? You're trying to register to be able to make the play.
Three balls, no strikes. Fifth time Mizzou pitching, see the count go to 3-0.
And I think that would be something you would take away from this, right? When you have conversations post-game and you dive into those little things. It's like if you're falling behind hitters a lot, it's going to be hard because you got to bring a hitter's pitch back over the plate to get back in the count.
Back-to-back walks, 4th walk of the inning. Handed out by Mizzou pitching. Well, the Tigers looked like they were about to get out of this inning with it's still a 4-2 game. Take it to the 4th inning, but wheels have kind of fallen off for the Tigers here. They're loaded up for Lily Livingston, who's the 9th batter to come up in the inning.
And the difference from when Touche came in was being able to kind of establish strikes early, right? Like being able to throw 55, 56 miles an hour early, and she's not able to do that these last couple of hitters, and she's really getting herself in trouble. And then the little defensive miscue, right? And
being that Harrison was the starting pitcher, she can re-enter, and that's what Coach Anderson is going to do here. So she'll inherit the 1-0 count. We'll step aside with the Mizzou pitching change. Well, NC State has added 3 runs here so far in the bottom of the 3rd. They have a 7-2 lead, and Sierra Harrison, who the starting pitcher for Mizzou, exited earlier in this inning, has come back in for the reliever Natalie Touche, and has inherited a 1-ball, no strike count, and bases loaded, 2 outs. 2-0 count on Livingston, who has singled and grounded out. There's a strike. Harrison had thrown 80 pitches before being originally taken out. That ball's hit well towards left field. It is back and deep, and a grand slam for Lily Livingston. It has been a 7-run inning for the Wolfpack, and all 7 runs are unearned.
That was a grand slam for the
and just on time. You love to see it turned on this pitch, and in a heartbeat, it got out of here. You just love this like carryover here for NC State, right? Whether they're earned runs or unearned runs, they are stepping on your throat right now, and that's has to be the cutthroat mentality when you are playing in this tournament. I mean, the importance of really being able, when you smell blood in the water, let's get it, and that's what you're seeing for NC State, and it probably has to feel good for them, especially after kind of the beating that they got earlier by Georgia, right? To be able to kind of take out that frustration of that game, flush it, go into this next game and just swing a hot bat. And that's what you're seeing.
It's popped up to first and caught by Abby Hay to end the inning, but 10 batters come to the plate, and freshman Lily Livingston's first career collegiate home run, a grand slam to cap off a 7-run inning. When we come back, we'll visit with the Tigers head coach Larissa Anderson. This game adds to the top of the 4th inning from field 3 in Clearwater. Let's chat with the Tiger head coach Larissa Anderson. And I know things kind of got away there. I mean, you're 1 play away from a 2-run game going to the 4th. What's been your impression here the first few innings?
I mean, our pitching, we're not making good pitches. We could have easily got out of the inning and we threw it away, but we got to make better pitches.
Coach, the adjustments you want to try to see your offense make here to get back into this ball game, what are you looking for?
We got to barrel up the balls. I feel like we're not on time. We're guessing. We're like in between speeds. I don't feel like we're getting in a really good hitting position, and I think they're just trying to predetermine rather than reacting to what they see.
We'll leave it at that. Appreciate the time. Thanks so much, Coach.
Thanks for being here. MIZ.
Head coach Larissa Anderson of the Tigers. Obviously, for those of you who want to work in broadcasting someday, getting the coach immediately after her team gives up 7 unearned runs is not the ideal time, but we appreciate her candor. Yeah, I mean, they were one play away from making this, getting into this fourth inning here in a 2-run game. But now, here's NC State. Probably thinking run rule. We'll see how it plays out here. He's just in the top of the fourth. Coach Anderson will take her spot in the third base coaching box. Up towards third base, and that scoots through Livingston and into left field. Sanaya Hill is on to begin the Mizzou fourth inning.
And that's really what it's going to be here for Missouri, finding ways to just get on base, whether that's an error, a hit, whatever the case may be. This one through the wickets, right through the legs of Livingston, and you got a runner on first base. And right now, that's the one thing Missouri needs. They need some runs.
This time in 4 innings, Mizzou's gotten the leadoff batter aboard. Madison up to Grove. Popped out to the pitcher Talley, her first time up. That was scored an error, by the way, that has allowed Hill to reach. Freshman pitcher Morgan Talley, pitching not too far from her hometown of Palm Harbor, Florida, which is a little north of Clearwater. She won a Division I state champion last year, 2025. Calvary Christian High School. Updegrove shoots it down the right field side foul.
Stay there, kid. Let's go.
63 pitches for Morgan Talley. County has run full on Madison up to Grove. Mizzou with only one hit. That was the Haley Linger 2-run homer in the second.
And I think the key here for Missouri is just being able to have really good scrappy at-bats. That's what you saw from NC State starting off this game, right? Seeing a lot of pitches, and when you get to 2 strikes, how much havoc can you create in the box by being scrappy, being a pitcher's worst nightmare in the sense where you are making them work and have to execute and throw pitch after pitch.
Can they turn it? Out at second to first. Save. Grove beats the relay. They do get Hill. NC State's defense yet to turn a double play on the year. Keep close there.
Right for the Tigers, catcher number 13, Gracie Britton.
And your catcher Gracie Britton walked in the second, just ahead of the Linger 2-run homer. Enjoy that 1,000 batting average, because it doesn't stay for long usually. She's 1 for 1 on the year. Back to the screen and down to second. Scoots up to Grove. Montez de Oca got to it quickly, made it close. Closer.
I think it was some miscommunication on maybe what was being thrown there, some wires crossed, because that one got by her really quick, and I thought that was a catchable ball.
Next pitch from Talley will be her 70th of the game. Smashed to third, diving stop from her knees to first. Lily Livingston. More than makes up for the error she committed to begin the inning. That was a very nice play.
This is just swaggy all the way. Lays out for it, but has enough time to get up. But just the carry on the throw, like she's out by a long shot at first base, even with all of her momentum going towards third base. Just a dart across the diamond.
2 outs. Up the Grove still at second for Kaylee Linger's 2-run shot. The second. First of the year and 7th of her career. One pitch. That's down low.
This is kind of that lone hit for Missouri. Got out of here in a heartbeat. Trying to find a way to.
Well, out to right field. It's caught by Sarah Johnson, and that retires the side. And Wolfpack really work around that leadoff error. This game going to the bottom of the 4th with the Pack up by 9. Welcome back to the 2026 Shriners Children's Clearwater Invitational on this Friday, day 2 of 4 from the Invitational. If you look at Clearwater Beach on this Friday, let's update you on some other action going on here at the Eddie Seymour Complex. A couple of ranked teams, Duke, Texas A&M. Kennedy Powell blasts one center field. That's up and out and gives the Aggies the lead, but that wouldn't hold for long as Amina Vega, really one of the best players, not only in the ACC but around the nation. She hits one out and ties the game at 4. So Duke and A&M tied at 4, bottom of the 4th.
I mean, gone are the days, Mark, of 0-0 ball games in the 7th. You just do not see that anymore with a little bit smaller strike zones, solid bat technology. It's yeah, it's a little bit more difficult for pitchers.
We have a new pitcher in the game for the Tigers. Allie McCulloch comes in. Well, the statement you just made, Danielle, fair to say that hitters now, as a big group, are much better than they were 10 years ago.
I agree. I'm stoked that I played when I played.
And that takes nothing away from the era that you played in.
For sure. But it's just everything is evolving at such a fast pace, right? Like,
that's a shallow right center field. Second baseman Sophie Smith wants that for the first out. As Pollock has come in for the first time this season for Mizzou.
well, and she has a good repertoire of pitches. You see that up there. Has some decent velo, mid-60s, but coming into a game like this, it's really about trusting your stuff. And that leadoff out, you love to see that coming into the game here.
Pollock is a transfer. She spent her freshman year at Houston last year. She brings the 1-0 to Massey. Goes down after that. Swats it into left center field, but tracked down by Kaylee Linger, and 2 fly ball outs for McCulloch here in her first inning. Well, our next ACC Network gymnastics meet is Sunday afternoon as number 14 Clemson squares off against Pittsburgh at Fitzgerald Fieldhouse. Coverage begins at 4 Eastern. And like everything else, it's also available on the ESPN app.
15 for 4. On the plate, 4 to Wolfpack. Subbing in, senior number 15.
Pinch hitter for NC State. Tegan Thrunk, Virginia Tech transfer, comes off the bench here to bat for Montez de Oca. And that's out to short, backhanded by Updegrove. Throw to first in time. And that sends NC State down quickly against McCulloch in the fourth. When we come back, we'll chat with Lindsay Leftwich, head coach of the Packers. This game adds to the top of the fourth inning from field 3 in Clearwater. Let's chat with the Tiger head coach Larissa Anderson. And I know things kind of got away there. I mean, you're one play away from a 2-run game going to the fourth. What's been your impression here the first few innings?
I mean, our pitching, we're not making good pitches. We could have easily got out of the inning and we threw it away, but we got to make better pitches.
Coach, the adjustments you want to try to see your offense make here to get back into this ball game, what are you looking for?
We got to barrel up the balls. I feel like we're not on time. We're guessing. We're like in between speeds. I don't feel like we're getting in a really good hitting position, and I think they're just trying to predetermine rather than reacting to what they see.
We'll leave it at that. Appreciate the time. Thanks so much, Coach.
Thanks for being here. MIZ.
Head coach Larissa Anderson of the Tigers. Obviously, for those of you who want to work in broadcasting someday, getting the coach immedially after her team gives up 7 unearned runs is not the ideal time, but we appreciate her candor. Yeah, I mean, they were one play away from making this, getting into this fourth inning here in a 2-run game, but now here's NC State. Probably thinking run rule. We'll see how it plays out here. He's just in the top of the fourth. Coach Anderson will take her spot in the third base coaching box. Up towards third base, and that scoots through Livingston and into left field. Sanaya Hill is on to begin the Mizzou fourth inning.
And that's really what it's going to be here for Missouri, finding ways to just get on base, whether that's an error, a hit, whatever the case may be. This one through the wickets, right through the legs of Livingston, and you got a runner on first base. And right now, that's the one thing Missouri needs. They need some runs.
This time in 4 innings, Mizzou's gotten a leadoff batter aboard. Madison Updegrove popped out to the pitcher tally her first time up. That was scored an error, by the way, that has allowed Hill to reach. Freshman pitcher Morgan Talley pitching not too far from her hometown of Palm Harbor, Florida, which is a little north of Clearwater. She won a Division I state champion last year, 2025. Calvary Christian High School. Updegrove shoots it down the right field side foul.
Stay there, kid. Let's go.
63 pitches for Morgan Talley. Down has run full on Madison Updegrove. Mizzou with only 1 hit. That was the Haley Linger 2-run homer in the second.
And I think the key here for Missouri is just being able to have really good scrappy at-bats. That's what you saw from NC State starting off this game, right? Seeing a lot of pitches, and when you get to 2 strikes, how much havoc can you create in the box by being scrappy, being a pitcher's worst nightmare in the sense where you are making them work and have to execute and throw pitch after pitch.
Can they turn it? Out at second to first. Save. Updegrove beats the relay. They do get Hill. NC State's defense yet to turn a double play on the year. Keep it close there.
And for the Tigers, catcher number 13, Gracie Britton.
Tiger catcher Gracie Britton walked in the second, just ahead of the Linger two-run homer. Enjoy that 1,000 batting average, because it doesn't stay for long usually. She's 1 for 1 on the year. Back to the screen and down to second. Scoots up to Grove. Montez de Oca got to it quickly, made it close. Closer.
I think it was some miscommunication on maybe what was being thrown there, some wires crossed, because that one got by her really quick, and I thought that was a catchable ball.
Next pitch from Talley will be her 70th of the game. Smashed to third, diving stop from her knees to first. Lily Livingston more than makes up for the error she committed to begin the inning. That was a very nice play.
This is just swaggy all the way. Lays out for it, but has enough time to get up. But just the carry on the throw, like she's out by a long shot at first base, even with all of her momentum going towards third base. Just a dart across the diamond.
2 outs. Up to Grove still at second for Kaylee Linger's 2-run shot. The second. First of the year and 7th of her career. One pitch. That's down low.
This is kind of that lone hit for Missouri. Got out of here in a heartbeat. Trying to find a way to.
Well, out to right field. It's caught by Sarah Johnson, and that retires the side. And Wolfpack really work around that leadoff error. This game going to the bottom of the 4th with the Pack up by 9. Welcome back to the 2026 Shriners Children's Clearwater Invitational on this Friday, day 2 of 4 from the Invitational. If you look at Clearwater Beach on this Friday. Well, let's update you on some other action going on here at the Eddie Seymour Complex. A couple of ranked teams, Duke, Texas A&M. Kennedy Powell blasts one center field. That's up and out and gives the Aggies the lead, but that wouldn't hold for long as Amina Vega, really one of the best players, not only in the ACC, but around the nation. She hits one out and ties the game at 4. So Duke and A&M tied at 4, bottom of the 4th.
I mean, gone are the days, Mark, of 0-0 ball games in the zone. You just do not see that anymore with a little bit smaller strike zones, solid bat technology. It's yeah, it's a little bit more difficult for pitchers.
We have a new pitcher in the game for the Tigers. Allie McCulloch comes in. Well, the statement you just made, Danielle, fair to say that hitters now, as a big group, are much better than they were 10 years ago.
I agree. I'm stoked that I played when I played.
And that takes nothing away from the era that you played in.
For sure. But it's just everything is evolving at such a fast pace, right? Like,
that's a shallow right center field. Second baseman Sophie Smith wants that for the first out. As Pollock has come in for the first time this season for Mizzou.
well, and she has a good repertoire of pitches. You see that up there. Has some decent velo, mid-60s, but coming into a game like this, it's really about trusting your stuff. And that leadoff out, you love to see that coming into the game here.
Pollock is a transfer. She spent her freshman year at Houston last year. She brings the 1-0 to Massey. Goes down after that. Swats it into left center field, but tracked down by Kaylee Linger, and 2 fly ball outs for McCulloch here in her first inning. Well, our next ACC Network gymnastics meet is Sunday afternoon as number 14 Clemson squares off against Pittsburgh at Fitzgerald Fieldhouse. Coverage begins at 4 Eastern. And like everything else, it's also available on the ESPN app.
On the plate for the Wolfpack. Subbing in, senior number 15.
Pinch hitter for NC State. Tegan Thrunk, Virginia Tech transfer, comes off the bench here to bat for Montez de Oca. And that's out to short, backhanded by Updegrove. Throw to first in time. And that sends NC State down quickly against McCulloch in the 4th. When we come back, we'll chat with Lindsay Leftwich, head coach of the Pack.
Shriners Children's Clearwater Invitational is brought to you by Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere, and St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida. From game time to white sand beaches, visit spc.com.
On this Friday from Clearwater, 9-run lead for NC State. And before we move on, let's take a look at our game track. Beginning for NC State, that 7-run third. And let's chat with our head coach, Lindsay Leftwich. And let me just start with this. This is the second game you guys have played today. How big a deal was it for you to score late against Georgia into this game? Anything to that at all?
Yeah, I think, you're playing for a lot of things in that first game when you get behind like that. And, at the end of the day, we want to walk out of here and every day and let people say that we play hard. And that was a good finish to that so we could roll into this thing.
Coach, we've seen a couple defensive web gems. One of them I feel like should be a top 10 play on SportsCenter. Just talk about your defense and kind of how cool that's been to see.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I think we're going to be better defensively than we've ever been before this year. And adding Maya Townsend to this defensive crew, and then Carly Short in the infield, they're doing a phenomenal job of just keeping us in ball games and letting us figure things out at the plate for sure.
Got to always watch those former LSU folks. Thanks, Coach.
I appreciate you guys. Go Pack.
Thanks, Coach. Lindsay Leftwich. This is the play that you're referring to. Former Tiger Maya Townsend. This is just spectacular.
Oh. It is. I'd love to see it in like slow-mo. Like just the all out, how much air is between her and the ground and just laying it all out. You love it.
Well, Mizzou needs to score here a couple times to keep this game going as we head to the top of the 5th. We need of 8 or more after 5. Bring in the run rule. It's an 11-2 game. Freshman Morgan Talley, starter still in there for NC State, facing 9-1 and 2 part of the order for Mizzou.
I think the one thing, Mark, that I would like to see Mizzou do a better job of is swing at some pitches that are a little bit more in their wheelhouse, right? Like you saw that last swing, that's a pitch that she's not going to be able to do a whole lot with. This has definitely been a game where Talley in the circle has ultimately been the one that's in control. And On the flip side, it's been the opposite. NC State has controlled their at-bats so well. They're like scrappy, making a pitcher work, and I want to see Missouri do a little bit better job at that. And it's starting out pretty good here in the 9 spot with 3-1 hitters count, but they really talked about that new hitting philosophy with Jake Epstein, excuse me, and being able to know and register those balls that you're able to hit in your zone and the ones that you aren't. It starts off with a leadoff walk.
Our next All Access, the ACC Live, premieres Monday night, featuring Stanford swimmer Tori Husk, Georgia Tech women's basketball guards Brianna Turnage and Savannah Samuel, and Wake Forest women's basketball guard Milan Brown. You'll get unprecedented access into the lives of the student athletes, as well as coaches, staff, parents, and fans. 7 Eastern here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. So the run the Tigers need to score is at the plate now. They need at least 2 to extend the game. At the top of the order up, Sophie Smith. Leadoff walk issued by Talley, 3rd walk she's given up today.
You've seen Talley struggle a little bit this inning with being able to command the zone and pitches a little bit more up, missing primarily down, and we know that's a pitch that is not registering behind the plate with the umpire.
That's the pitch right there you've been expecting to be a strike.
Yeah, I have, and I think with the score 11-2 that it should be a strike.
And 7 of her 9 pitches in this inning have been balls. She's behind 3-1 to Smith. Ooh, fouled it off her foot.
I don't even know if I want to watch. There's nothing worse. The foot, the shin, the training room that you have to hit up after.
Left foot on the instep. Now she'll see a 3-2 pitch from Morgan Talley.
And when I see a hitter hit something off their foot and kind of have that pain threshold where you know they feel it, I'm going right back to that spot because I know they're going to have a little bit more of a defensive swing because they don't want to do it again. But this back-to-back walks here, to me, this is a situation where I'm calling time. Whether that's coming from the dugout, that's coming from the catcher, I have to go out and kind of calm down Talley a little bit. Could potentially be pitching coach, team time, but the message would be pretty loud and clear. You're up 9. What are you doing? Why? This can't happen. We can't all of a sudden fall off in the 5th and not know where we're able to locate pitches and where we're not, right? So sometimes, like I said, I can come across a little harsh, but I think in those moments, sometimes pitchers need to be told, like, hey, you've been throwing a heck of a game. You need to be a little bit better in this moment. So this is a good timeout by pitching coach Mike Bosch to be able to come out, connect, get her back on the same page, let her know she has a 9-run lead, but I'm sure NC State would like to get out of here early.
Mike Bosch in his 3rd season. And Paige Cassidy, who's an assistant and also handles pitching, she's expecting, in fact, she's due March 1st. So, she's a little preoccupied with some family matters.
Which I'm sure she's tuning in and listening. Good luck with what's to come.
Sydney Forrester smashed back towards the circle. She's going to 3rd and throws it away. And that's going to bring in a run for Mizzou, and the runs to extend the game are still on base. It's 11-3.
And I can appreciate that she's trying to get those lead outs, but I almost would have went to 2 on that. I would have tried to roll a double play. I mean, there's no reason for me to have to go over to third, change where my body's at. And with such a big difference on the scoreboard, I think if I could double a runner off and potentially get out of here with 2, let's go.
Yeah, I'm with you. Second base was the play there.
Yeah, and she had a lot of time.
Mizzou's opportunity to extend this game has improved dramatically here with the 2 walks and an error.
When you're going to see infield in pretty heavy here, you're going to see Short and Simmers at 2 that are pulled in. You're going to see that on the corners. Good spot. And just the person that Mizzou wants up right now, this electric freshman and Abby Carr. Good pitch, pulling the string. This is just so good. Bayou, like just such deceptive velo on that change.
This is NC State's second game of the day. They lost to Georgia 16-2 earlier, so once they're finished with this game, they're done until tomorrow morning. They have a 9 a.m. game against Texas A&M we'll have here on ACC Network. Ball's rolling, staying foul. Mizzou plays later today, 6 Eastern time against UCLA. Mizzou's first game of the Invitational, NC State's second. No count. Carr's already reached twice with a walk and reached on an error. Still nobody out. The bases are loaded for Mizzou.
Well, you know, Coach Anderson at third base is just loving the fight here by her squad in the top of the 5th with a run rule on the line. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to that battling and passing the bat. Some walks in the inning, 3, which I think is obviously a lot in this type of a situation, but big situation here for Abby Hayes with bases loaded.
Number 36, Abby Hayes.
And you got a hitter at the plate now for Mizzou, Abby Hay, who with one swing could completely change the complexion of this game.
And someone that you, if I'm on the bench, I got my fingers crossed in this moment. Like, man, this is exactly who we want up with this situation with none outs.
Tally not far from 100 pitches. Hay is grounded out to second each time up.
And it almost feels like Tally in the circle is on just kind of the losing end, it seems like. You know what I mean? She's not pitching like they're up by that much. She's just throwing a lot of balls. She's not her usual self. And I'd be making a pitching change, honestly, Mark. Like 3 walks so far with a hit by a pitch. I mean, I'm going to probably make a change.
And I think that's what's on Coach Leftwich's mind here. We are going to have the bottom of the 5th inning. We know that for sure now. Mizzou's already scored twice to get out of the run rule.
Ladies and gentlemen, next one, ball, number 3,
And after 98 pitches, the freshman Morgan Talley will be lifted here. Wynn Gore is going to be the new pitcher as Talley exits in an 11-4 game. There's the line on Morgan Talley at this moment, though she's responsible for all 3 runners still on base. 4 innings, close to 100 pitches, 98 to be exact. And then she is a two-way player. Looks like she's going to play at a different defensive spot. She will indeed. The new pitcher's Wynn Gore. Junior Wynn Gore. 2-0.
She has that good upspin with that change, that mid to upper 60s, and I think the biggest goal always for her is to be able to throw the ball through the zone, be able to get some of those swings and misses.
Out towards third. The play is going to go to second. Close, but out there. But another run scores. Brings in third run of the inning. RBI for Hill, her first of the season. It's 11-5. Shortstop Madison Updegrove from Mizzou. Grove has popped to first and reached on a fielder's choice. Waxhorn to third. That is down the line. That's going to go out of play. It was a fair ball, but it left play and will be ground rule double. And Mizzou keeps adding to the rally here. It's now 11-6 after a double for Updegrove.
A really good job by Madison Updegrove. We've seen a little pull power today. This just finds a way to stay in. The way the ballpark works here is if it gets by out in the outfield and goes into kind of that extra area, it's going to be a ground rule double. A couple more runs on the board here from Missouri. Gotta love this fight.
8th batter to come up in the inning. The catcher, Gracie Britton. Now Mizzou gave up 7 runs to NC State in the third, and they were all unearned and all with 2 outs. That's softly hit to third. Runner started to come for the plate. Now back to third, safe. Short had come in behind, but now you got 2 runners at second base. Being chased back to first is Britton. Now the throw home, out. Well, Mizzou was going to have bases loaded, nobody out, but when Britton ran up the backside of Updegrove, now Mizzou, you can see they wanted review, but that's not an option here in Clearwater.
When you hear Phil Frills, or Friel, excuse me, in the background, we don't have replay. Just because you know they wanted to ask. And I think the conversation was more Hill saying that, like, she didn't get tagged.
Yeah, I think that's a valid argument. Yeah. Again, it's not a force because it was second and third when the play began.
I kind of agree with her. I thought she was safe at home, and
yeah.
I mean, but realistically, the biggest thing that happened that was a defensive miscue was that she tried to go back to 3 to get her out. She should have just went across the diamond. They needed to get outs at this point, right? It wasn't like a run was just going to clearly come home. There was no reason to have to try to go to third to get anyone in that situation.
Langer, a 2-run homer in the second, is also flied to right. Is the 9th batter to come up in the inning for Mizzou in the top of the 5th. When they started the inning, they needed 2 runs just to extend the game. Slow roller to third, Livingston to first. Out, call there to win the inning. So a couple of close plays, both called outs to end the Mizzou inning, but they do have a big frame and get right back in the game by scoring 4 times.
I think this was a little closer than people think, but listen, we don't have a replay review, so it is what it is.
11-6 NC State leading Mizzou. Game goes to the bottom of the 5th inning. Tigers needed 2 in the top of the 5th to extend the game. They did that with 4. And here's the last play. We showed you the one at the plate prior to that there was an argument for Mizzou had there been replay. And that was the out to end the inning. And it looks like foot's on the base. Ball's not in the back of the mitt yet. And Coach Anderson reacting that way. So if you're NC State, I mean, yeah, you just let Mizzou crawl back in the game here, but it could have been even worse there. I mean, if they don't get that out at the plate and the out at first and in the inning, it's still rolling on.
Well, and I think that they would have potentially used 2 challenges and got to keep both challenges, because I do think both of those plays were, and it's not to say that to the naked eye, they're bang plays. I get it. Sometimes, you know, umpires can make small mistakes based on how fast the game is being played, but
Riley McCulloch set the side down in order in the 4th, bottom of the 4th. That's the first time we've had a 3-up, 3-down inning. Nine 1 and 2 hitters here for the Pack. Sarah Johnson 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. Belted down the right field side, but foul. The 2 pitch. More transfer, Riley McCulloch. In her Mizzou debut. Who would like a different ball? Comes that 3-2 pitch. A lot more softball going on right now. You got Georgia up 10-5 on UCF. Duke up 4 on A&M. So that game's going to the bottom of the 6th now.
Townsend.
I mean, these are all like football scores.
Yes.
They
Which is not all that unusual through the years. For the most part, the Clearwater Invitational has produced a lot of offense.
And I will say that first, second weekend out, maybe sometimes pitchers still trying to kind of iron out the kinks a little bit, figuring out strike zones, figuring out stamina, what pitches they can throw under pressure. Not that you don't feel pressure through your winter trainings and that grind, but man, when you cross those lines and it's someone else going up against you, it can kind of ignite a different feeling in your belly a little bit of needing to execute big pitches in big moments.
Balls and a strike on Maya Townsend. Reached base all 3 times, a couple of singles, and also reached on an error. Once that one, throw to first in time. Nice play though. Tiger third baseman Sanaya Hill to get down the line, get the out of first base. It does advance the lead runner Johnson.
Well, this is really good, especially with where Hill's playing. She just darts in here quick, but this throw on the run, so good. Knowing the speed of Townsend up the line, man, she was out by a long shot.
NC State, number 8, Carly Short.
Here's Carly Short, who's been unable to retire in the game with a single and a couple of walks, a couple of runs scored for the NC State shortstop.
Really good job by McCulloch to get back in it, right? Like a quick 0-2. You love to see it being able to establish that strike zone here, especially late in the game.
One-two pitch for Short. And the high strike call at the waist. Strike 3 is the first K for McCulloch. The second out of the inning.
And we got ourselves a fist pump. Let's go. I love to see how fired up she is in this moment. Being able to kind of get that upper quadrant in on a righty. Listen, that's a pitch that has not really been called throughout the day, but I love that she just went right back upstairs.
Two outs for Kendall Simmers, who opened the scoring with a 3-run home run in the bottom of the first inning.
Ooh, good spot.
Finished high, 2 balls and a strike. Riley McCulloch, the 3rd different pitcher from Mizzou in the game. He's trying to keep this a 5-run game. This hits the outside corner.
We're only seeing NC State a little bit pump the brakes on just their approach that they had early in this game. Like that, I think that's a strike all day, and especially in a hitter's count, something that you can crush. We're seeing them be a little bit more passive with their swings. Mind you, Kendall Simmers, I mean, big home run in that first inning, somebody that definitely knows herself well and what her plan of attack is, but
That's ball 4. She lost her second walk of the inning. So 2 on and 2 outs. It's going to bring up Livingston, who did this last time.
And a good pitch in on her hands that clears her hips, turns on it real quick, almost like she kind of knew that it was coming. And she's in a situation right now where if she hits a homer, she can walk off this game. I know that I'd probably be a little bit more hesitant giving her something too close on the inside part of the plate, just with how she was able to turn on that pitch earlier, and knowing the circumstances this late in the game. You hit a three-run ding-dong, you're out of this game. It would be a run rule. So I'm going to kind of force her maybe to the right side of the field a little bit, challenge her to see if she can hit something away. I don't want to give her anything too close in.
Off the end of the bat, out into center field. That is caught. Smith makes the play to retire the side. NC State strands a pair. This game going to the 6th. 11-6 NC State. I'll take a peek at our game recap. NC State got out to an early 4-0 lead. It was 4-2 at the end of 2, then 7 unearned in the 3rd. The Pack, they were up 11-2, had a chance to run rule Mizzou, but the Tigers got 4 in the 5th. A number of those were gifts from the Pack. And that is where we stand as we go to the 6th. Lindor back to work in the circle for NC State. Mizzou's going to employ a pinch hitter here. Emma Jackson comes off the bench for the Tigers.
And if you're Missouri, you just want to try to continue that momentum in that last inning. Piling on some runs, getting back in this ball game.
Jackson, a senior transfer, brought in by Coach Anderson. East Carolina. Jackson played her true freshman year at Virginia Tech back in 2023. And that's ball 4. So every time you think Mizzou maybe on its last leg, they keep resurrecting. Sometimes with some help from the Pack, sometimes the key hit here and there. Now it's back to the top of the order, and Sophie Smith. Well, the way this game has gone, Danielle, I think if you're NC State, yeah, you got a 5-run lead, and it's relatively late, but it's not a comfortable 5-run lead the way this game has been playing out.
It's definitely been interesting. I mean, on both sides, if my scorebook's right, which 90% of the time it is, I have 14 walks combined between the two teams. That is a lot of free passes, which to me signifies a smaller strike zone than at times maybe they're used to, where they're kind of having a tough time figuring that piece out. That is going to hurt you. Tough to be successful as a pitcher when you're giving up that many free passes on both sides. It hasn't just been one team necessarily. It's been both that have given that up. Seen, you know, teams capitalizing in big moments when they do smell that blood in the water, right? Base loaded, you saw the grand slam, you're just, but as a pitcher, it's just finding ways. If I can't get strikes that I normally can, am I able to still get away with being able to utilize my defense? Can I still throw some decent pitches in and around the zone that I can get a hitter to swing at? It can be frustrating.
Smith, besides the walk, has fly to center and line to short. That is a strike call, and it's gone 2-0 to 2-2. It's on the ground at third. The look back by Livingston. Keep Jackson at second and retires Smith at first base. 1 out in the 6th. Lineup card out for Coach Anderson. She's going to use the bench once again.
3-enter double zero.
Forrester, who had come out, is going to re-enter here.
Back to the lineup, double zero. Sydney Forrester.
Especially too, Mark, when you have pitchers that tend to be a little bit more down in the zone as drop ball pitchers that can spin it. A ump behind the plate that doesn't have a low strike zone is almost your worst nightmare, right? Because you tend to live a little bit more down. So it's being able to learn as a pitcher, hey, if that's my bread and butter pitch and a pitch I rely on a day where I know I can't get it, what's my go-to? What is it my fastball? Is it my changeup? Can I get a low rise in the mix? But that's back-to-back pitches by Gore where it's just he's not going to give that call. Even though that's something she tends to get and lives with, it's not working. So what can you throw to get back in this count?
Ball's out to left field. It looks like she has a beat on it and makes the catch. Tagging to third. A risky play. And then safely it's Jackson.
Love it.
And she got in there. Jackson moves up to 60 feet to third with 1 out, or I should say with 2 outs. Abby Carr enters again.
Missouri batter, number 28, Abby Carr.
Here's a low strike, or strike at the knees. Carr on base 3 times, 2 walks, reached on an error. Officially 0 for 1 with a run scored. This is a face and a name, Abby Carr, that Mizzou fans will get to know a lot better through this season for the true freshman. The 2025 Missouri Gatorade High School Player of the Year out of Lafayette High School in the western St. Louis suburbs. Two-way player.
Which you at times haven't seen a whole lot in the game, right? Even in the travel ball scene, you're starting to see as these athletes get a little bit older, they tend to be just pitcher only, which I don't love. I do think that if you are good enough to be able to do both, you should do both. But in the college game, you're seeing it pick up a little bit more, which I can appreciate. I think being able to help yourself out as a pitcher on both ends of the ball is huge. And then for the defensive purposes too, like you can go in and out, you play a little shortstop, you can go pitch if you want, you know you're hitting. Gatorade Player of the Year.
Out to left field, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Carr goes into second. It scores Jackson. Zoo crawls a little closer, now at 11-7. Carr's 5th RBI of the year.
Number 38, Abby Hay.
There's Abby Hay. Belts it to right field. That ball's hit well, but run down in the right field corner. Johnson. Hay hit it well, but lines out to right. Mizzou settles for just one and trail 11-7. And let's take a look at today's Impact Players, and it is Players brought to you by Visit St. Pete Clearwater, because we had our share of home runs in this one.
We sure have. I mean, the long ball is something I don't mind seeing, especially in some clutch moments. We've seen pitchers get themselves in a little bit of jams, and then hitters are like, yep, all right, I'm going to make you pay for that. And you'd love to see the big home runs in the offense by NC State, but then you've also liked to see the fact that Missouri has just absolutely battled back. That type of fight, I think, is so important, especially when you're playing in a tournament like this, right? Like every single game is just such a grind. You look at Missouri, they're NC State, they're going to be playing UCLA, Northwestern, Florida Atlantic, Duke.
And the Church had one of those home runs you just saw. Church, Simmers, and Livingston have all left the yard. They played earlier today, did the Pack. Had a couple of runs late. We've seen the offense do much better here in their second game of the day, as that's floated over the head of Smith, and Church is on for a second time with a hit. Riley McCulloch has pitched well in relief here for Mizzou and has allowed them to creep closer. Now Lindsey Leftwich has gotten the lineup card out. NC State's going to run at first base for Church. Gabby Wilson's going to come in to run.
Wolfpack hits runner. Number 13, Gabby Wilson. Batting for NC State, number 3, Morgan Talley.
Morgan Talley is starting pitcher today. NC State through 98 pitches, and she jumps on the first pitch and smokes it to the base of the fence in left field, and it went under. You can see it. Did that actually rip part of the fence at the base? Whatever, it found a hole, and runners are at second and third. A double for Talley.
I thought for a second it had a chance to get out of here.
Oh yeah, it created
sneaky,
that.
Sneaky, sneaky. And they don't have a replay here. It fooled me.
Runners are at second and third. And Massey makes a strike. NC State already knows they're going to take at least a 4-run lead to the 7th. And they're looking to add more here with a couple in scoring position and nobody out. Walks and a fly ball to center for Massey, and a run scored today.
Coach Leftwich talked a lot about Tara Massey and the coach's call. She said she's definitely the one on this team you want in your corner. She referenced she's the first one over the rails. You get into a fight, she's your girl. She's got you. Also the keeper of the culture for this team, somebody that's really big on that.
He takes up high, 3-1. Turner really came on at the end of last season. Only played in 20 total games in her true freshman year, but the last 13 games of the season, she started at third base. A grand slam against Duke that helped them beat the Blue Devils last year. At second and third with nobody out. Taryn Massey, 3-ball, 1-strike count. Infield in for the Tigers. And the bases are loaded. Montez Dioka, catcher's been reinserted. She's up with the bases loaded, nobody out. New freshman out of El Dorado Hills, California, which is just a little east of Sacramento.
NC State be on the brink of a home run away from a run rule. I think this is the second time that we've seen it. I mean, one swing of the bat here, she's walking it off. And we've just seen that fight from Missouri on the back end, finding ways to continue to be scrappy and back in this ball game. But right now, McCulloch finds herself in a little bit of a pickle here. 3-0, bases juiced.
And a 4-pitch walk with the bases loaded is Carmen Montez de Oca, her first collegiate RBI. And it's 12-7. We have seen a combined 16 walks between these two teams today. And McCulloch, who pitched well in relief, kind of hit the wall here in the 6th, and they'll make another pitching change.
I feel like I have to be frank, but 16 walks is just not going to cut it.
Quick timeout. Back in Clearwater, 12-7 NC State leading. They have loaded the bases, batting in the bottom of the 6th. We told you about Abby Carr being a two-way player, so now let's see the other side of things. She's in the circle.
Well, we're bringing her into a little bit of a pressure cooker situation. Bases loaded, nowhere to put anyone, none outs. This is just battle time. You got to grind through this, especially with strike zone, trying to still establish, figure that out. Throws upper 60s. Has that change, as well as that backdoor curveball, can throw with a little bit of upspin. And the change piece, I think that really is the differentiator for her. When she's able to throw that on command, that is going to make her hard stuff feel a little bit harder.
As you alluded to, she comes in inheriting the bases loaded, nobody out. 5-run lead for NC State. They have picked up one so far here in the 6th. in Sokolowski's.
Number 18, Sarah Johnson.
Taking over in right field for Mizzou. Freshman Abby Carr, we mentioned the time at Lafayette High School in the 2024 Mizzou High School State Championship game. Carr had to throw 8 innings, had 16 strikeouts, and, pardon me, threw a no-hitter to win the state title.
So good. Out of the 4 pitches, she's thrown that changeup 3. Just goes to show the control she has of that pitch, the command she has, but more importantly, the trust, right? I think when you can come into a game with bases loaded, none outs, and you're really commanding that pitch, you're making it tough for a hitter now who's probably maybe second guessing a little bit. Is she going to go with that changeup 3 times in my at bat? Is she going to go with something hard at this count?
Goes to a full count. No place to put Sarah Johnson. And there's the off-speed pitch taken for strike 3 in the first out of the inning.
And a backwards K to boot, which just goes to show, I mean, all the body, all the wiggle moving forward. Sarah Johnson just could not pull the trigger on it. I feel like I almost would have been guessing that that's what she's going to be bringing me 3-2 after that last fastball prior to that pitch. It's a good pitch.
Townsend, couple singles her first 2 times up. Laid down a sac bunt in her last plate appearance an inning ago. Abby Carr from an athletic family. Dad Mike played baseball at Missouri State. Mom Katie played softball at Pittsburgh. Slow tap out of reach of the pitcher, but there's Smith. And get an out, but a run comes in as Hallie will score. It's the second run of the inning. RBI for Townsend, or 4th of the season.
And I like this matchup. Carly Short up here in this situation. Going up against a freshman in the circle, a lot on the line. Like you've said numerous times, Abby Carr is going to be a huge piece of Missouri's success moving forward, especially her freshman year. She's going to be getting the ball in her hand a lot.
Short has scored twice. Walked twice, has a single. Mizzou had scored 5 unanswered runs until NC State has scored 2 so far here in the 6th. 2-1 pitch. Leftwich's team trying to hang on for their 3rd win of the season. Full count.
I feel like the changeup is the only pitch right now that she can locate for a strike. If I am Carly Short, I'm sitting off speed 150% right here, 3-2. Just saying.
And you would have been right. Strike 3. Got a pair of NC State hitters with the off-speed pitch. Last chance for Mizzou. We're heading to the 7th. Well, Duke and Texas A&M going at it here in Clearwater, and strike 3 ends the game, and Duke wins it by 2 over Texas A&M, 8-6.
It's a tough day for Texas A&M, Mark. It's 2 games they've dropped, lost to Oklahoma State earlier, and
you know, for a team that didn't exactly end last season in a fashion that they want to remember. The regional first pitch swinging, Sanaya Hill going out at first base. One quick out in the Tigers' 7th.
I feel like this was back in 2022 or 2023. But you remember when Texas came here and they were like 0-6?
0-5. Yeah, something crazy. And they went to the national title game.
They did. As an unseeded team. So it's like we put so much hype on this tournament and it gives you that postseason feel. But let's not forget, there is so much softball to play and conference and just all the things where like you're going to get to sharpen up so many different tools in your toolbox as a team and individually. But it is always nice to see what teams are firing right out of the gate.
Out to right field. And the catch, Sarah Johnson. Mizzou down to their final out.
At the plate for the Tigers, number 7, Stefania Abascato.
Lynn Gore going to close things out here for the Wolfpack. Stefania Abascato in their first at bat of the game. Takes upstairs. A player who kind of been looking for a defensive place to play. Played some outfield in past years for Mizzou, and he's going to see some time behind the plate catching. He belts one to right field, and coming in, that's caught by Johnson to end the game, and NC State wins it 13-7 to improve to 3-4 and drop Mizzou to 2-5 to begin the season.
Well, what a rebound by NC State after that Georgia game earlier, getting run ruled. Love to see that. And then on the flip side, the fight by Missouri. Honestly, Mark, we could have counted them out from the jump. They came back into this game. They had scrappy at-bats. They found ways to get in it. And gosh, this was a game that kicked you and me off in Clearwater, huh?
It was indeed. Mizzou will play UCLA a little later at 6 o'clock Eastern today on ESPN+. We'll be back on ACC Network tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, as NC State will take on Texas A&M. That's going to take care of things for now. We're going to send you to women's lacrosse, North Carolina and Syracuse. For Danielle Laurie, I'm Mark Neely, and so long for now.